Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite_UK, spreading the spirit of teamwork and never giving up. Don't forget to subscribe.
What makes me think the most is not just winning or losing in sport, but also how people confront adversity at the peak of their careers. Scott Barrett, a 32-year-old player who was once the spiritual leader of one of the strongest teams in the world, after making sacrifices to recover from ankle and Achilles tendon injuries, now has to face a serious back injury requiring surgery. That is not merely a setback in physical terms, but also a major test of mental strength, patience, and the meaning of dedication. I feel very clearly the harshness of elite sport through this situation. Fans often see only the glory of big matches, the cheers, the trophies, and historic moments. But behind all of that are bodies worn down over the years. A professional athlete may be strong on the field, but they are still human flesh and blood, still subject to pain, pressure, and the uncertainty of fate. In a short period of time, all plans, expectations, and even leadership roles can change completely because of injury. What makes me think even more deeply is the loneliness that a player like Barrett may have to endure. When the national team enters important matches, when teammates step onto the field in front of tens of thousands of fans, he is instead in recovery rooms, hospitals, and exhausting rehabilitation exercises.
Not everyone is strong enough to accept the feeling of being left behind during a period when they were once at the center of the team. In sport, sometimes injury does not only hurt the body but also forces a person to struggle with the feeling of losing their own sense of value. However, it is precisely in such difficult circumstances that I see the true beauty of the sporting spirit. A great team cannot depend on a single individual. Barrett's absence opens opportunities for others to step up and take responsibility. This shows the essential nature of a collective. When one person falls, others must rise to take their place. This is not a denial of Barrett's role, but rather a testament to the resilience of a great team. Ardie Savea emerges as a reasonable and emotionally compelling choice for the captain's armband. I feel this is not only a tactical decision but also a reflection of the trust of teammates and fans in him. Savea is the kind of player who plays with his whole heart.
He is not only strong in skill but also carries an inspiring energy. For many years, fans have wanted him to become a true leader of the All Blacks, because he possesses fighting spirit, approachability, and the ability to connect the team. What I admire about Savea is that he does not give the impression of wanting to be a bigger star than others. He plays like a quiet warrior, always putting the team's interests first. Perhaps that is why, in Barrett's absence, many people feel Savea is the most deserving person to lead the team. A true leader does not necessarily speak the most, but is the one who makes his teammates feel secure when standing beside him. Alongside Savea, names like Cody Taylor, Ardie Barrett, and Beauden Barrett also make me reflect on the meaning of experience in sport. These players have been through many major battles, understand the pressure of the All Blacks jersey, and know how to stay calm in difficult moments. In a strong team, leadership is not only about the captain's armband but also about how veteran players guide younger ones.
I am particularly impressed by how New Zealand's national team always prepares for the future. The mention of Wallace, Sititi, or Cam Roigard shows that they are not only thinking about the present but also building foundations for the 2027 World Cup. This is something many organizations and individuals in life can learn from. Sustainable success does not come from focusing only on the present, but also requires preparing for the next generation. A great team cannot exist without continuously creating opportunities for young players to grow. Looking at players like Roigard or Sititi, I feel an interesting transition in New Zealand rugby. These young talents not only bring physical strength but also represent a new ambition. But with opportunity always comes immense pressure. When wearing the All Blacks jersey, they are not only playing for themselves but carrying the expectations of an entire nation that is passionate about rugby. This makes me realize that the greater the glory, the heavier the responsibility.
I also draw many lessons for myself. In life, everyone can go through periods when everything seems to fall apart. There are times when we try very hard, but the results are still not what we expect. Like Barrett, after sacrificing an entire season to recover from injury, he again faces another setback. This shows that life is not always fair. But it is our response to adversity that determines our true value. I have learned that no one can fully control fate, but we can control our attitude. An injury can take away the opportunity to play, but it cannot take away an athlete's dignity, professionalism, and fighting spirit. What is most admirable is not someone who has never failed, but someone who can stand up after failure. We often expect stars to always be perfect, always winning, and always performing at their best. But sometimes fans forget that players are also ordinary human beings. They have limits, pain, and moments of weakness.
Criticizing a player when they are injured or out of form can sometimes be cruel, because behind it may be sacrifices the public never sees. I believe sport is most beautiful when it teaches people to respect one another. A strong opponent is not meant to be hated, but to help us understand the value of fair competition. An injured player is not a reason for mockery, but a reminder of human fragility. And a true captain is not judged only by victories, but also by how he protects his teammates in difficult times. In any field, from sport to work to everyday life, people will always face change. No one can remain at the top forever. What matters is how we respond to that change. Some people collapse after losing their position, while others accept stepping back to make way for the next generation. That is maturity and the most beautiful expression of team spirit. I think rugby, and sport in general, reflects human society. It shows competition, ambition, pain, hope, and also solidarity.
I realize that the greatest value of sport is not in trophies, but in its ability to inspire people to overcome difficulties and live more responsibly. In the end, I feel respect for Barrett for the sacrifices he has made for the team. Respect for Savea and the other players for stepping up during difficult times. And respect for the spirit of rugby itself, where strength is not only in muscles, but also in courage, humility, and an unwavering will to keep going. In the future, the All Blacks captain may change many more times. Young players like Sititi or Roigard may become the new symbols of New Zealand rugby. But what will remain forever is the lesson of resilience and team spirit. That is what makes sport go beyond being just a game, becoming a source of inspiration for millions of people around the world.
Farewell from Scrum Masters Elite _ UK. Thank you, Barrett. Savea, the rugby spirit never gives up.